So, the equinox. I wanna talk about it. I wanna dig in and unpack it a little bit. It's something that I used to read a lot about, and it didn't mean much to me other than it was cool, and that I also loved the historical relevance of it. Like, cultures all over the world for thousands of years treat this day as this auspicious power portal day. And just being in that tradition, like just acknowledging it as they did was meaningful. But let's talk about it today now. So I want to share like things that I have that are meaningful to me around the equinox. So first of all, just to understand what it actually is. It is, the earth is in the exact same plane as the sun. The earth's equator is in the exact same balanced coordinate with the sun. And what this means is that the day and the night are absolutely equal. And with this balancing of real opposites, of light and dark, there's this like powerful magnetic neutrality of balance. I like to think of it as like a unison of difference. And there's a magnetic frequency to this balance of opposition. And it is, in many, many traditions, an incredibly powerful day to initiate things, to plant seeds, a portal day to kind of dig in and project, especially at the spring equinox, because we're now expanding into light. And this, the electromagnetic field, the earth has an electromagnetic field that is amplified by the sun. And us and the sun are in like a really direct conversation. And the sun is here to support that visioning in a very specific way on this day. And it's a day to take seriously. It's a day to count the miracles, to count what's working, especially in a world that I think in many ways capitalizes on our fear. A culture, a societal landscape that capitalizes, that where fear is a big selling point for a lot. And I think it is important, it is mandatory for us to see what is working. So I have a couple prompts for today, but I want to talk a little bit more about this idea of polarity. So there's like in certain Indian traditions, there's the Ra, which is the masculine, and then the Ma force. So this is a day where they're in balance, and it is said that they're with this balance and this sort of electromagnetic frequency of like hovering difference that strike this like chord of neutrality, which is how I think of it. It is said that there's this like diagonal force that it creates, and on this diagonal force, that is the access point to change, to transformation. I like the idea of that, and I've worked with that personally with my practice. So I think what I really love about this is this moment of like oppositions coming together, not coming together, but just meeting, like converging in equality, is this stillness that it creates, and the silence, let's say, and this sort of 0 point, which I love, and I've done a lot of teaching on, but the idea of 0 being an infinite point of everything, where kind of nothing is everything, and that is deeply fruitful, that is all death, all life, that is everything, that is oblivion, that is the full fucking gamut. And on this day, that is lit. Like, that is really happening. Zero. And we are like in a zero chasm. Some people refer to this day as like a karmic reset, which I unfortunately am a little resistant to, like, new age jargon, even though I think the concept of karma is definitely interesting. But I think it's this idea to, like, shed what is not working and propel yourself into more of where you want to be and what you want to create. And power days like the solstice, eclipses, full moons, new moons, and the equinox, both spring and fall, are really key days, transformation days. Like I've said this before, that what is happening in the cosmos is happening inside of us, esoterically, but also practically. Like, my, period has come consistently around the moon cycle. We know that the tides outside are in sync with the moon. If you've looked at any, like, sailor's almanac and whatnot, it's so that linking of fluid, the linking of the biomechanic systems is absolutely connected to our heart and our psyche, ourselves. And so when such big players like Earth and Sun are in a very specific arrangement, like, that is happening, there is capacity to strike an infinite zero point of neutrality inside that I think can, like, help increase our consciousness. Again, big loaded words here. Consciousness as self-awareness, as living the life we were here to live, helping us, like, these power days can kind of help, like, just clarify, reorient, anchor, ground. Yeah, I'm saying a lot of things here, but it's actually, like, really simple. Balance of opposition that creates a neutral point where anything is possible. One of my teachers suggested this a few years back, and I just came across it, and this idea of, like, taking note of the miracles, like, what is working. Write them down. Write them down today in the equinox. Write down on your phone, journal, whatever, but, like, where is there, like, miraculous flow? And we have to keep this attention alive. This is a heroic act. I think it is a revolutionary act right now, especially. This is not about brushing over hardship, violence, pain, fear, but it's like making room and carving space for the possibility and the glory of, like, goodness every day. I had this dawning when I read Narcissus and Goldman, Hermann Hesse's book, in high school, that, like, the light needs the dark and the dark needs light. And that book, the themes in that book, the stories, that the character's arc really illuminated that for me in high school. And then I've come across different teachings, different teachers, and my experience that sees the world as a polarity planet that can be broken down into two categories: light and dark, love and fear. I'm kind of really into the love and the fear thing, because I actually think that everything can be reduced into that category. So it is reductive, but, like, it took me a moment to feel like the complexity of my experience could be distilled into something so simple, but I think it's really true. And I I aspire to live in love, to move from love. And this doesn't mean that I acquiesce to anything that doesn't feel right. But it means that like the impetus, that the seed of my action comes from love, not from fear. Now, fear is useful. Fear is discerning. Fear helps us discern, which helps us protect. Like the questioning / negative mind, the I'm not so sure, is this the negative, the doubtful, the critical, is it kind of equatable to the fear? It's all the kind of the darker stuff, and that is like really important for us to stay safe and to understand the love. The next time you're in a sticky situation, ask yourself, am I afraid? Like, can I move forward with love? Can I move forward with fierce love, with commanding and powerful love? Love is not soft. Love hurts. Love is like a beast. Love is divine. Love is deep compassion. Love is like not describable. It is a texture, a frequency, a feeling, a way of being. I think love is what brings us into this world. And again, for so many years, I was really resistant to certain words that were so used. And I remember once I was in a period of my life where I was just told everyone that I was dating, I was like not looking for love. I think there are probably more articulate ways to say that, because I think love is the glue that gives us meaning and purpose. But on this equinox day, looking at this sort of polarity planet, and like I encourage you to think about if you agree with this, if you like this idea of polarity planet, and how you have a choice in a given moment to choose a side. And I kind of like the simplicity and clarity of that. So on this day, like, think about what's working, acknowledge the miracles, acknowledge the flow. And if you like the feeling of love, choose love a little bit more regularly, I would say. And really think about, like, put some things in motion that feel good to you. Like, put some things in action. Use this as like in a very pragmatic way. What do you want to propel yourself towards? And I think having like a really steady body practice, building the prana, clearing the mind, honing the focus, and like really just kind of tuning in to your place, your mission, and get clear on that, and see what happens. See if you can really move something forward, and it can be for you personally, but also globally. So that's that. Yeah. Thanks for taking a listen here, and I hope you have a splendid equinox, and see you soon at the next epic cosmic event.